Ray Macklem here from Nest Mortgage, and I hope you're all doing great out there. A quick update from Economics Land, as it has been a busy week with Monday's release of the Business Outlook Survey and consumer sentiment reports, and yesterday Statistics Canada released September inflation numbers. And so I am going to apologize in advance. I am going to use the word expectations a lot. It is somewhat thematic for this video. I hear it, and I'm sorry, but here we go. Headline inflation for September edged downwards 0.1%, which objectively should be good news, right? This is the third consecutive month we've seen a decline in that statistic, which should tell us that inflation has probably peaked and is trending in the right direction. However, subjectively, both economists, and especially the Bank of Canada, wanted to see more. They wanted to see a bigger drop in that number. So we've got some unmet expectations. When you couple that with the fact that core inflation edged upwards slightly, that's the measure that strips out volatile aspects like food and energy, it's only going to compound the disappointment, especially on the Bank of Canada's front, which leads us into next week and their rate announcement, which happens on Wednesday the 26th. In September, the last one, they had said, we judge that rates are going to have to increase further, right? They're setting that expectation that this is what's going to happen. Nothing that's happened in between then and next week is going to change that messaging unless and until we see some more sustained decreases in inflation and consumer expectations. The Bank of Canada's message is going to be the same. Now, it's worth noting that we're probably at or near the worst part of this, where interest rates have increased dramatically and inflation is still high. Consumer expectations are that inflation is going to stay high for a little while. And they're not wrong. Like, we are in this position where inflation will stay high. Now, it takes 12 to 18 months for these interest rate increases to do their job. And we're only 6-7 months into this rate hike cycle, with a lot of the meat of that happening in the last 3 or 4. And so it is going to take some time for this to filter through. But the line the Bank of Canada is going to have to walk going forward is that overshoot of monetary policy, right? Every recession in recorded history has been triggered by an overshoot in the policy rate, meaning they've gone too high and thrust us into recession. You're already starting to see articles come out, like Jeff Bezos today from Amazon, batten down the hatches. Apple reducing production. Many recession articles out there to be found. Now, given the trade-off, whether it's recession or inflation, the Bank of Canada is going to take recession every time, but they don't want to make this worse than it needs to be, recognizing that this stuff is going to take time to filter through and that they still have to do their job and let people know that, hey, we've got this under control. So after this, the next rate announcement is in December. We're going to get some more data between now and then. At some point, the Bank of Canada is going to have to pause. And I think that's what we're all kind of tuned into is when that happens, when that narrative shifts, when we see some more sustained decreases in inflation across the board, and when we see consumers start to register that in those expectation numbers. So as we go forward, that's the kind of stuff we're going to be monitoring. And so we'll keep you posted. And any questions that you have on how this affects you, don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to help. Take care out there.